29, I gave birth to my only son, and I suffered a really traumatic labor that went for 3 days, and there was a big fiasco that happened. And I went from being an incredible athlete to being an invalid. I ended up with 7 surgeries by 2005, and wrong diagnosis after wrong diagnosis. Could not sit for more than a minute without, I was on so many pain medications. I was on 7 different narcotics in a morphine clinical trial. And then finally somebody sent me to somebody who knew what they were doing in San Francisco, and they diagnosed me with pudendal nerve entrapment, which was very, very rare. Found out my nerves were crushed in 7 places on my left side, 5 on my right side. I was suicidal. I was always very positive. I was suicidal at that point. They told me that statistically, the suicide rate for somebody with that was over 68%. And I kept hearing, you should just kill yourself, you should kill yourself. And I couldn't even pick up my son. People had to take care of me and take care of him, and it was a mess. And so finally they sent me to France, where I had the best care. They said I would have the best chance, only 30% of getting any better. This was gonna be my life. I love the Lord. I didn't understand what happened to me. I went to France. I had to go ambulatory, laying down. In France, they did something, they botched the end of the surgery. They used some glue to sew me up instead of stitching me, because they thought it would give me a better chance, and I bled to death on the operating table. I died, and I said, good riddance to that. I don't even want to be. I was up on the ceiling. I did not go to heaven. I was up on the ceiling, like in the operating room, looking down, and nobody spoke English, and they're all freaking out, and I could see they're crying, and they're like, oh, because I died, and then like I'm American, they're gonna get in trouble. And so they're all, yeah. So anyway, I'm watching and I'm thinking, God, I'm going home. This is so awesome, because that body down there, I can't stand that thing. It's so painful. And so I'm just up there and I'm watching this craziness down there. And the Lord just came on me, and he came down and he started talking. I was like, oh no, I just felt like I needed to just fall on the ground, but I was up here and I couldn't fall down because I had no body. I was just up there, and it was crazy. And the Lord told me, he said, you can come with me now, or you can stay, for the prayers of the saints have given you a choice. And I did not even know 400 people were praying for me at home. And in that moment, I was like, what do you mean I have a choice? You always think that you're gonna be so incredibly saying something your whole life in front of God. And I just said, what? I was so unintelligent. What? And he said it again, same thing. So the bottom line is, he showed me my son. My son was 5, and he's so cute. And it wasn't a picture, and it wasn't a video. My son was right there, and I knew. He said, you can go with me now, or there's much work for you to do. I knew if I left, my son would not know God, because people would be angry. And so I made a choice. I didn't say anything, and the Lord sent me back, told me a bunch of other stuff, sent me back. And it was horrible. I had 2 more surgeries in 2 days to save my life. It took me over a month to get home. I was completely bedridden. It took 3 years for nerve regeneration. I ended up with 13 surgeries in 14 years. I finally had enough nerve regeneration to go back to work, but I had to lay down most of the time. I carried a cushion everywhere. People said, that's the lady that lays down. I was on so many pain meds. I don't know why people wanted to work with me, because I was all marked up, but I was okay. I mean, I was sane, but that's all you can do is go to work and then go home. So the end of it is, the Lord told me in February in 2013, they were scheduling me for my 14th surgery. And I was undone. I was like, God, I'm just pray for people. That's what I do. And it caused me to be an intercessor. He told me to go to VOA. I started reading your books because I was
Voice of the Apostles.
Right, Voice of the Apostles. I started praying for people so much, and I never saw any healings. I was so discouraged. And I said, God, there's got to be more. And I found you. And I started reading your books, started reading Bill's books, and I was like, whoa, I am doing the wrong stuff. And the Lord said, go to Voice of the Apostles. And I said, I can't fly, God. I can't sit. I can't sit for more than 2 minutes. I can't fly. He said, go, you'll be blessed. And I was like, oh gosh, I called my best friend. I got to go to Florida. She goes, you can't fly? I go, I know, but God told me. So somehow I took a bunch of narcotics, and we got on the plane, and I went, and it was hell, but I made it. We get to Voice of the Apostles, the last day. I was fed. It was amazing. I was knocked out by God's power on the floor. I spent more time on the floor at Voice of the Apostles than anywhere in my life. At the last day, the last 2 hours of the conference, some man came down.
Richard Holcomb, who's the guy who gave me the prophetic word, test me now, test me now, test me now. My Texas friend.
Unbelievable. He was going to the bathroom. Richard was
My Texas friend.
unbelievable. He was going to the bathroom. Richard was going to the bathroom. And the Holy Spirit said, see that lady? Go over there. And I was on my knees, which is ironically the best place for me for 14 years. It was the only comfortable place for me, on my knees. So I was on my knees and I was worshiping. I was sitting on a cushion, leaning back like that. And Richard comes over and asks me what my problem is. And I give him the 1 minute, and I have no faith to be healed because now I've been prayed for by everybody. And I'm like, God, if you wanted to heal me, you would have healed me. I was like listening to all this stuff in my head, like that God needs to use me like this because I'm stubborn, I'm this, I'm that, whatever. And Richard goes, no. And he touches me and the power of God falls on me and I fly backwards and I'm on the floor again. I'm like, man, I'm getting used to this. This is pretty good. But then I get up and I'm the same.
He went to the bathroom.
He went to the bathroom. He leaves me. And my friends are all there like, are you healed? Are you healed? And I'm like, no, but it's okay. I'm good. I'm really good. I'm good.
But you weren't healed.
Wasn't healed. And then I'm worshiping. You're doing testimonies. I'm just like, it is all good. Richard comes out of the bathroom.
What's he doing?
And he goes, hey, how are you? I go, Richard, I'm reading his name. It's okay. I'm okay. He goes, no. And he's got this southern thing going on. He goes, God healed me. He healed my wife. He healed my son. Now he's going to heal you. And I was like, okay. I never heard anybody talk with that kind of authority. I was like, okay, I will do. And I'm not in my chair. I'm supposed to be occupied. I'm on the floor on my knees. And he sits in my chair. He goes, all right then. And he grabs my face. And he just starts reading my laundry, things wrong with my body. My husband didn't even know because I quit talking about my ills and all my stuff. And then he starts telling me all the vows I've taken, agreeing with the enemy and agreeing with the spirit of suicide and agreeing with this and agreeing with that. And I'm like, Spirit of God's all over me. I'm like, whoa. My best friend's like, who is this guy? Who is this? Is this an angel? I don't know. She's freaking out. And I'm like, she's in my ear and I'm like trying to hear her. And I'm like, oh. So he just keeps going down the list of every single thing that's wrong with me, and he has me renounced, full-on deliverance. Like, who knew? I didn't even know about deliverance back then. And he goes, all right then, now get up and do something you couldn't do. And I was like, I would do it right now. So I'm on my knees, and I could not move this leg because of all this complication stuff. I drug this leg forward, and I was all like this, but they helped me. I had no pain. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be one of those crazy people. I'm gonna run up and down the aisle right now. I'm totally gonna do it. It was awesome, and I did.
You ran up and down the aisle.
It was so good. It was so good.
So we have a miracle healing.
Total miracle. Total miracle. And Richard, oh my God. Richard made me go up to you. Jesus, oh Jesus. So good, so good. So Richard goes, now get up there. You got to give God the glory. Now, you guys, I have like full-on flipper feet. I can't walk hardly at all. And they're holding me up, and they get me up. Well, with the metal things keep you from going on the stage. Well, they see Richard, and it's like Moses in the Red Sea. They part those things, and they're walking through, and I'm like, and I don't know who he is at all. And my friend goes, man, who is this guy? And I go, I don't know, but I'm going up to talk about Jesus. So we get up there, and you are hilarious up there because I gave the whole testimony. But here's the thing. I believed for 14 years that if God wanted me healed, he would have healed me, number one. Number two, I believed the enemy was not as powerful as he was because he lied to me, and I believed that healing was not for today, or if somebody got healed, it was for them and not for me. I believed all these lies. And every time somebody would say, well, God wants to heal, I'd go, really? What about the fruit in my life from all my pain? I would say that to everybody because
you render redemptive suffering.
Totally, that was my paradigm. And when I was healed, it was transformative. Since then, I came home. I'm in ministry at a church in Sacramento. And when I came home, I said, you're not gonna believe what happened to me. I work with the senior pastor who's right there. He's such a fabulous man. There he is. And I went in his office and shut the door. I go, dude, I gotta tell you something. He goes, how was the conference? I go, well, I have to tell you what happened to me. I tell him, and he's sitting there like this. And I go, man, the power of God is unbelievable, And I'm telling him, I twitched the whole way home, and for 4 days I was twitching, and it's been crazy. So I tell him everything, and he looks at me, and this is the most powerful thing he said. He goes, why'd you have to go to Florida to get healed? This is not right. And I went, I don't know. And since then, the power of God, I prayed for him and I did all the impartation that you all did for me. And since then, God has been moving through our church and healing people like that. The impartation that you all did for me. And since then, God has been moving through our church and healing people like that and that and that and that.